Hey,
I'm just saying. I think it's best that the audience knows the real history and the lineage of Question of the Pod.
We never denied that fact.
I know. It's the fact that you guys. I feel like there needs to be a disclaimer before every time you guys say it.
There is right after we say it. We say,
Suck it, Colton. Yeah.
I will die on that hill.
I absolutely love Miley Cyrus.
You have failed this
Right, so I get to say it. Right on.
Sickest night ever.
Is this? What are we doing?
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Call Guys podcast. I'm Gunner, also known as Chico Noise, three-time podcast host. And alongside me, as always, my good friend Juan Keel 43. And this is part 2 of our Certified Rotten. And we're diving in. We're going back in the old DeLorean to the 80s to discuss an 80s movie, a Certified Rotten 80s film. And what better group of podcasters to have on than the Golden 80s podcast? That's right. Golden J, Frankie Vegas, both back at the Call Guys podcast once again. Welcome.
Hey, glad to be here.
listen, I
Love
am
Taylor
Golden
Swift.
J. So happy to be back on the call, guys. It seems like forever since
Has been
I've
a
been
minute.
invited to come back on the Call Guys podcast. You're letting Chris get my numbers, and now Jake's getting my numbers. What the hell? Come on.
It's kind of true.
I'd be
right? It's
more.
been a while.
I'd be more worried about Jake right now. I think he's lurking, and he knows he's lurking.
Listen, hey, the dad cast last week's episode, outstanding.
Absolutely.
Listen, outstanding. Loved it. I loved the all the feels it gave me all the way
Oh, yeah.
through, and
Oh, yeah.
you guys did a great job with that one.
Totally agree.
Thank you.
Killing it in the dad world.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, you guys are experienced in it.
Yeah,
That's
but
true.
if you bet my kid, though. Josh is okay.
Dang.
He's a little weird, but it's all right.
I just want you to know, Frankie, my mom loved her some Josh Taylor.
Oh, I know.
Oh my gosh. Always loved when he came around and talked. Always a good time with him around.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
It is never a dull moment when Josh is around.
Oh, no.
No.
Man, I remember him at Hannah and Caleb's wedding. Oh my gosh. Oh
He-
my. Well,
He might have been a little liquored up there towards the end of the night.
I can either confirm or deny that statement.
I'll throw his ass under the bus.
Maybe
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
if Josh wants to hit us up at the callguyspodcast@gmail.com and let us know his feelings that night, we would love to know. Josh, if you want to be on the pod, brother, you are more than welcome to come on. Hannah and Caleb, I hope you're listening. Still, maybe I don't know. We'll find
No.
out.
Yeah,
Text
Hannah's
us, let me know.
mom told me that Josh was kind of running the show at their wedding.
I don't know how he was running the show from behind the buffet line. I don't get it.
I don't know. I just know she said they couldn't do it without him. I thought I wasn't there, so I don't know.
Oh
Yeah.
no, always a good time with Josh. That was a lot of fun that night. Yeah,
I was gonna
felt
say,
like I was part of the family that night. That's for sure.
if anything, I felt like Jeremy and I ran the show.
You may have.
What did I do?
Oh,
Absolutely nothing.
Oh man, that's funny. That's great. Yeah, no, glad to have you guys on. Glad to be back. Frankie, since we're face to face here, brother, if you got something you want to say, if you're feeling strong right now, I think it's kind of the best time, take a shot at the champ. So here we are. What kind of grievances do you need to air with me right here, right now?
Not really any grievances. I just say quit your damn whining all the time. That's all I'm saying. Nobody gives a shit that Taylor Swift is up in the stand cheering for Travis Kelsey or whichever Kelsey brother it is.
she likes tiny dance.
And you
I'm
all
going to say
want-
this.
The
I'm gonna say
Bears,
this.
they are what they are. You
Well, we
should-
just won a game without scoring a touchdown. That's how good we are. You guys done that? Have the Colts done that? Chiefs do that? Nope.
Colts gonna be in the playoffs?
Hey, right now, We were just talking about this. If the
Yep,
Colts
Chiefs
were in the
will-
playoff, they'd be going to the Chiefs, and you know how that turned out.
Oh God.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Not
want
the
that
game.
if I
Not
was
the game
Chiefs.
I went to.
Yeah, well,
Playoffs.
Playoffs.
Yeah.
My Bears just had a great win, and I'm disappointed that they won. Very disappointed that they won.
Well, yeah, they're getting out of the race for the #1 draft pick, right?
Whoa, no, we got
They
the
still have it.
Panthers. We got the Panthers right where we need them with one win. We need the Patriots and the Cardinals to keep winning.
Oh.
And the Giants, I figured out. I just saw their record. It is trash. They need a couple more wins, and the Bears need to keep losing because we play the Cardinals, and I'm really hoping the Cardinals squeak one out on us. The only thing I'm worried about is that it's in Chicago, January or December 24th. So it's probably going to be cold,
Yeah.
and that worries me for an Arizona indoor team. So,
oh, yeah. Didn't the Panthers, didn't they just fire their coach already?
yeah, Frank Wright, you should know all about Frank. Yeah,
I know about Frank.
he did.
And it
He did
don't
great for
surprise
you
me.
guys.
Yeah, he did all right. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know what the deal was there. Indianapolis is a screwy place to be a coach
Well,
or a GM. I don't know.
I think it's the ownership. I think it's a reflection of the ownership that really goes on there. And what really
Yeah.
is the if you don't have a generational quarterback like a, Andrew Luck that you
Peyton
try
Manning.
to kill. Oh no, Peyton Manning, he wasn't trying to get killed. He just happened to get hit. He played for so long, like Father Time is
Yeah,
undefeated.
true.
Andrew Luck out there is balling for his life because he's a football player through and through. And the dude didn't know when to not get hit.
Well, you see what happens when the Colts get, a star quarterback, our draft pick.
Oh,
He
yeah.
got what?
He's been out.
Year now. I mean, he can be out for the year because he runs and he doesn't know how to slide. Which
Well,
no
he just
disrespect, he just balling.
he doesn't know that there are other guys bigger than him on the other side of the
Obviously.
football. And he found out.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, you hope he learns that lesson.
I hope.
As I'm trying to do with Justin Fields and keeping control of the ball because he has the most fumbles since he's coming in the league as a quarterback. So that's a fun little stat. Yeah, how's your quarterback coach working for you guys, Jeremy? Go
Hey,
ahead.
It's fine. He's good.
He's great.
Yeah, he's doing good. Doing
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Wonderful.
He doesn't call the plays.
He
Yeah,
doesn't
oh,
call. Yeah, he does not call the plays. He
I'm not-
doesn't
I'm
really
not
do
say-
anything.
I said the quarterback coach. I'm just saying. How
He doesn't call
long?
plays.
It's been
Oh.
a while since Mahomes had a 300-yard game against a good team.
Who is the quarterback coach for Kansas City?
Are you serious right now?
Who is it?
It's Matt. Isn't it Matt Nagy?
Absolutely not.
What is Matt Nagy doing there then?
He's the offensive coordinator.
I
There we
thought.
go.
Whoa.
Last year he was the quarterbacks coach. You are 100%,
Yeah,
but that
he
was
got a
last year.
promotion.
Oh my
This
gosh! How
year-
did he get promoted?
Eric Bieniemy went to the Commanders.
Why would that organization see? And you guys,
I think
It doesn't make
I think we've come to a nice little flag planted in the field right now is that Colton is trying to blow me shit, but yet he still doesn't know what he's talking about. And I
Here we
think we hit the painfully obvious section of the Call Guys podcast where,
It's
where
gonna
you
get-
go, did I just step in a puddle of poop?
don't worry, Jeremy. I'm going to make
Puddle.
that hole. I'm going to make that hole a little bit bigger here because we're going to go
At
a little
least-
bit deeper.
At least he
Okay.
doesn't have a game on.
Hey, I can't say nothing about
That's
coaching
true.
decisions or anything. The Colts had Jeff Saturday coming to the head coach.
That is a
so,
good point. Yeah.
So I have no room to say anything.
So
Listen,
are we still Kansas City Chiefs fans? Are we still on board with Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce? Because let me tell you what.
Okay.
You don't care. You don't care
Okay.
that Travis Kelce has looked like absolute crap the last couple weeks because Taylor's been out on tour.
We lost to the Eagles by 3?
Mhm.
We won last week.
Mhm.
I mean,
Okay,
Not playing
to the
bad football.
Raiders. The Raiders are
That's true.
trash.
That's true. Well, no argument there. This
So-
weekend's going to be a good to see if they've actually turned this wide receiving core around. Now you're picking on Travis Kelce.
I'm not
But
picking on Travis. Travis is thinking the problem now that you guys should be worried about with your dynasty that you're in right now is that Travis Kelce does not want to play football anymore. That dude is thinking retirement, How do I not screw up this Taylor Swift relationship? And how do I get quicker to retirement? So then that way I don't have to play football. I can just podcast and live off the funds of my wife. You know, the dude's not thinking football anymore.
You got him married
He
already?
does.
He ain't thinking Super Bowls anymore. He's thinking, how do I not screw up this Taylor Swift relationship? That's what he's thinking. He ain't thinking Super Bowl. He ain't thinking
You
Super Bowl.
got to at some point, though, Colton.
That's fine. But this is Kansas City Chiefs dynasty. Jeremy, when's the last time y'all were a dynasty? These are dynasty years. These are dynasty years. I mean, you got prime Patrick Mahomes and it kind of a bit of an aging Travis Kelce, but he's still better than almost every receiver the Bears and the Colts have combined. And like, how do you not just focus on this short little window that you got and just say, hey, man, no distractions. Super Bowl every year. And what's he do? He goes out and bags himself a Taylor Swift.
Well, but wait a second. That opportunity comes to you to date Taylor Swift. Do you turn it down?
If you're worried, are you worried about Super Bowls or are you worried about life after football?
He got rings.
I think you got to be both. Yeah. Why does it matter?
You can't do both. You cannot be a slave to two things. It's impossible. You cannot be a slave to two things.
Well, haven't we all done it though? Haven't we all tried to be doing something to impress a girl?
Yeah, but
get
none of us have been
grew up because, like, if you were playing basketball and you're trying to impress one of the girls out in the stands and you miss an easy layup,
it was about winning. It was about winning. I didn't care. It was about winning. I wanted to win at all costs. Ask anybody that played with me. I was going to do whatever it took to win, and nothing was coming in that way. It went basketball and girls in that order in my high school, college days, you know. But that's what I'm seeing with Travis is that I don't think he's 100% focused on football. And I think that, and as of Chiefs, if I was a Chiefs fan, that would worry me because you are in prime time years of your dynasty and you need to be winning Super Bowls right now. Because the last thing you want to do is to have him think, oh man, I I took a bad hit, I'm kind of on the fence. And I don't think Kelce's that way. I think he's a tough and out type of guy and plays through injury, a football player. But now that he's got this Taylor Swift thing going for him, he might be thinking, man, I just don't know if I want to get hit anymore. Man, I don't know if I want to do practice anymore. I'm not sure if I love football like I used to love football when I was chasing rings. I'm just saying it's a distraction for him.
It doesn't matter to me. I mean, if he wants to retire after this year, he can retire after this year. It's fine with me. Go do his podcast. Go marry Taylor Swift. That's fine. Football's football. It's his life.
So you trust the organization and the receivers they brought in to carry the ship and Kelce's receptions and yards?
Sure.
One player doesn't make a team.
What? In football, the quarterback makes the team.
Yeah. You got Rice.
I don't know. I think the Baltimore Ravens could probably argue that.
Gray. Got plenty of receivers.
All right.
We're not a football podcast.
You've lost 3 games because of receiver drops.
All right. Let's take a time out. We're not talking about receiver. We're not talking about receiver drops right now. We're talking about Travis Kelce.
Okay, we'll start there. Then we'll start there.
Right.
Let's hear it.
For starters,
we're starting.
For starters, he mentioned it one time in an interview for some offshoot magazine that he thought about retirement, and the media has blown this up into he's thinking about retirement.
He's made a distraction for the team. Done.
He said the media made a distraction for the team.
Whoa,
Same way the media does everything else. Okay, so that being said, he said it one time, and who's to blame him? The guy's been in the league for what, 12 years? 12 years? Something like that?
Man, it seems like a lifetime. I forget.
It does. He's been in there a long time. I mean, and he's given us, he's breaking records still as we speak. 11,000. He's the fastest tight end to 11,000 yards in last week's game. And he's third to Gonzalez and
Gates?
And I'm so
Antonio Gates.
Yeah,
I think it's Antonio Gates. And
as far as total yards,
yeah,
and he's not going to catch Tony. And let's just be 100%.
Oh,
honest.
he would need bonker numbers.
Yeah, he needs 6,000 more yards to even get close to Tony. So let's not even think about that record. But he's still playing. The problem is right now, and I agree with you a little bit. The Taylor Swift thing is a fucking distraction that needs to go away. But once again, it becomes a media distraction. It's not necessarily the fact that, he's dating her and, they're in a new relationship and that new relationship feeling, you get that, you all you can do is rub your balls and hope to God that you get to see her later tonight. But to be 100% honest, the problem right now with Travis is that he's getting double and triple teamed in all of these games. So even when he gets a shot at the ball, he's only making so many yards because he can only get open so far and break free from these triple teams. So that's why you're not seeing a production out of Travis Kelce on the field. Okay, that being said, Travis Kelce got hurt in practice before the season started, missed the first game. Harrison Butker last year got hurt in the first game in that shit field in Arizona, and everybody in the world was ready to boot him out of Kansas City because when he finally come back from healing,
didn't he miss one or a couple?
He missed several games. We brought in 2 other kickers that couldn't kick anybody in the balls to save their life.
Yeah, our one of our safeties kicked better than everybody else.
Yeah,
he did.
Reed done a better job.
I remember that.
So right now, Travis is still on the mend from the hurt, from the injury in practice. And once again, now everybody's like, oh, well, Travis is distracted with Taylor Swift. The dude's still trying to heal up, man. His freaking leg is killing him every week he goes out there. But Travis Kelce still goes out there every week, still is productive for Pat Mahomes when he can break a freaking 3-man coverage that's on just him. Because, and this is where you get into your drops, because Tony can't catch, because Sky Moore can't catch, because, MVS, the fucking ball is in the breadbasket in the end zone and he drops the ball. So, we can't rely on Travis Kelce for everything. We've got to get these other guys to step up. And that's what worries me. And we had a great game against the Raiders. Pat looked like Pat.
You can't trust that though.
I understand that. I'm not trusting it. I'm just saying we had a good game against the Raiders.
Okay.
With our receivers, Rashid Rice, our rookie wide receiver, comes away with 107 yards off 8 catches, I think. Let's see what they do in Green Bay with this wide receiver core now that we've broken it down and we're not giving Sky Moore 40 to 50 snaps. Let's get Rashid Rice out there. Let's see what Justin Watson's going to be able to do because he's a good receiver. He's had his drop problems too. I understand. But all in all, the media distraction that Taylor Swift adds to this whole thing is a distraction, but I don't think it's the biggest distraction for Travis Kelce. But like you said, he's been in there 12, 13 years in the league.
Oh, yeah.
He's given us some great memories. And if he does decide to retire, then he retires. We've still had Noah Gray. We still have Blake Bell. Who was the Ertz just got released from freaking Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, if Travis is thinking about, maybe we can get a hold of Ertz, as a backup, put him on the practice squad, sign him on a small contract. Although that's looking way too far ahead. I don't think Travis is going anywhere. I think he's going to stick around at least 2 to 3 more years.
What's his deal? What's left on his deal?
That I don't know. I have not dug into that.
Because I think whatever his deal is, that's how long he's going to do it.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to resign. I don't think he's going to do another deal unless he's on like a 1 or 2 year deal right now. But if it's 3 or 4, I think he's calling it quits whenever it's up.
Yeah. And, I think it might rotate around what Andy Reid decides he wants to do. I mean, Andy's getting up there. There's been word that Andy wants to stay long enough to stick with Pat Mahomes' contract, who's still got 8 years left on that. So
7 or 8.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of variables in that, but the whole Taylor Swift thing is man, if he's nailing that, I'd love to fucking high five him, to be 100% honest. I would love this to be like, Travis, that is probably, as Shannon Sharp said, or whoever said it, Rich Eisen or whoever said it, that is the best catch that Travis Kelce's ever made.
Well, yeah. But no, but here's the thing, though. I'm going to say something real quick. The whole thing with Taylor Swift, them panning the camera to her every
play.
that has nothing to do with Travis Kelce.
Yep.
It has nothing to do with Taylor Swift. That is
I
all
agree.
the NFL and the media.
I agree.
Just like with the whole Colin Kaepernick thing and his kneeling.
Yep.
Quit putting the damn camera on him and you solve the problem. If people ain't seeing it, they can't talk about it.
But you are right in the whole if the breakup happens and if it does happen or when it happens, yeah, ticket sales in Kansas City are going to drop, and all the quote unquote Swifties who are buying up the extra tickets, are not going to be buying them. And
I'm talking more prices. I'm more so talking about his merchandise.
Oh, Travis Kelce's never had a problem selling merchandise in Kansas City. Kansas City loves him.
I'm not saying that, but
yeah,
I feel like there's a quota that the NFL is going to assume to meet now because of the Swiftie bump that is in Kansas City. And when that, if and when that does happen, that could, the NFL might be, hey, where are we getting this money? How's this going to come back? Because they're not taking losses.
What are the chances right now that like Justin Fields can, nail Demi Lovato?
I don't know. My quarterback is trying to get a franchise that's in the dumps for the last 25, 30 years into relevancy.
Just out of curiosity. And I mean this, and this is not a slam. This is just a thought. Do you think that the problem with Chicago right now is Justin Fields?
No. Nope. And it's not Justin Fields' fault that we called 3 wide receiver screenplays almost once to twice. And I'm not saying they call 1, they call 3, 2 to 3 wide receiver screens back to back to back or back to back at least once or twice every game. When we've only gotten maybe positive yards out of it 3 or 4 times all year. And one of them was the last Monday night game when Moore broke it for like 35 yards. And then they went back to him 2 more times on wide receiver screens, and he got, I think, about a total of -4 yards. So
I'm just saying, Chicago has done a lot of things. They went out and they got him some receivers, and we swapped head coaches, and we've swapped head coaches again. And then, what we did? We swapped head coaches again. And the relative problem is still, in my mind, if you're going to look at what the problems are, is maybe it's the quarterback that's the problem.
I think you either so it's like in college athletics, where the Bears are getting ready to go through this, and sometimes it goes through with college athletics where an AD will start as the job and hire a coach, and the AD will get fired. Like your general manager in professional football will get fired. And that quarterback, so to speak, or that head coach for that team only has 1, maybe 2 years max to win and prove that they can stay there, because the first words out of that guy's mouth, if they're losing and your fan base is demanding wins and expecting wins, that GM or that AD is going to say, well, that's not my guy. And then everybody says, well, let's get your guy in here. And that's the problem with the Bears, is that we keep having this revolving door because we have such piss poor management up at the top, and they just need to let a guy like Fields ride a little bit longer. I think the problem is, I don't think Eberflus is the coach for Fields. I don't think Getsy is the coach for Fields. So now you have the head coach and the offensive coordinator who are not quote unquote just their guy with Justin Fields.
Right.
So they've got to make it work. Okay. And if that doesn't work, you either A, get rid of Justin Fields, B, get new coaches, or C, get rid of everybody and Ryan Pace, our general manager, and start over again.
Start from the basement.
Which is what we do. That's what we do. We seem to go through that cycle of, it's the quarterback's fault, get a new quarterback. It's the coaching fault, get a new quarterback. And then we're like, okay, let's just scrap the whole thing again. And it's just, I think Fields has a lot of talents that most quarterbacks in the league don't have. So in my opinion, you go with what you quote, to quote a movie off of Gunner's Wall, is you go where the talent is.
You
Jennifer-
go where the talent is, and the talent just walked
Just
out. The
walked out the door. Exactly.
Well, I wanna-
Exactly.
I just want to say I want to thank everybody for listening to the Indiana Chiefs Fan podcast.
Yeah, and then we worship at the house of Mahomes. And thank you
Yeah,
for
no, we-
listening.
no, we
what are the
don't.
plugs? What are the
No, we
plugs?
don't. No,
we got to
don't.
get off
Call
this.
guys
We
is
got to
all
get off this
football.
football kick, man. Come on. Let's get back
This
to the
is
call guy.
I need sports talk. Gunner,
I know you do.
Gunner just chokes. He strains it out of me and doesn't let me go. I'm a peacock. You gotta let me fly.
Pete?
That's a great quote.
Yep.
Nothing.
Nope.
Gunner, how you
Nope.
doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing great. Just listen to you guys argue about football and talk about football and looking at my notes for this
Yeah.
this
We
movie
need
that
to
we're
get.
gonna,
Let's get
we're
back to
gonna
the
talk
call
about.
guys podcast.
And I'm thinking about
For the-
asking these guys what you've been watching. Brandon, what have you been watching?
I watch a lot of reality. I've been watching a lot of like Survivor and got finished up with Big Brother and
Nice.
just all that kind of stuff. I tried to watch a certain movie but fell asleep. So it couldn't do
Feel
it.
that. Golden Jay, what you been watching?
Dude, we just wrapped up the Goosebump series. Watching, so we did watch that. Of course, Mass Singer is in full bloom, so we've been trying to keep up on that. Found. Have you guys watched Found?
Nope.
Really enjoying that. Zach Morris is the bad guy in this.
Nice.
Yeah. So we've been watching that. But other than that, I don't get a ton of TV time. I'm still trying to get Only Murders in the Building. Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
I'm still
Yep.
trying to get that on my list. So if I get some time, it's definitely going to be on there.
As you should.
I did watch the Wrestler series on Netflix with my boy Al Snow in it. Did you watch that, Frankie?
I've been watching.
Yeah.
I haven't been able just to sit down and go through the whole
Right on.
series, but I about halfway through.
Right on. I enjoyed that series because I know Al and all that. So it's a lot of fun to watch that. So I'm changing my name to Hollywood Golden Jay.
Hollywood.
I've heard that somewhere.
Hollywood.
But yeah, that's what I've been watching. How about you guys?
Golden?
The wife and I just got a peacock. So yeah, the cack. So we've started Parks and Rec again.
Oh, nice.
Oh, right on.
So yeah, we really like that show. And we were going through it the other night and we found some other shows that we really like and excited to rewatch. So probably rewatch The Office and Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And
Wait,
I'm sure she's already she's already started Psych, which I'm not a big fan of Psych. So yeah, just never did it for me. What about you, Gunnar? What are you watching?
Emperor, you mentioned two of them. Mass Singer, obviously one, and
Right.
then Goosebumps. I finished that up.
Uh,
Since the trailer for Avatar: Last Airbender came out for Netflix, we decided to start rewatching the animated series. So we've been watching that on and off here and there. Obviously, Christmas movies have started in this house.
Oh, how about Hallmark? You stuck watching Hallmark movies?
No. We watched Christmas with the Cranks last night,
Uh-huh.
and a couple nights before we watched the animated Grinch, the newer one.
oh, the one with Benedict.
Benedict Slumber Snatch.
Yeah, we watched it the other night. William watched it the other
Yeah.
night, and I was like, man, this one's not very good.
Oh, really?
I didn't like it.
I really
didn't like
enjoyed
it.
I enjoy it, man.
I didn't like it. It gave the Grinch too much of a heart throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, a little bit more heartwarming than, but he's not as evil as he is in all the others.
I want Jim Carrey or nobody. Okay,
Huh?
that's the type of performance we need.
I enjoy the Jim Carrey version too. But so yeah, more Christmas movies to come, more TV shows, I'm sure. So, but yeah,
Post show.
Um,
Golden Jay, I did sense a little bit of sarcasm when you said, "Have you started the Hallmark movies?" Does that mean the Hallmark movies have started in your house?
Yes.
the rocker chick is addicted to
God.
Hallmark movies from
no.
mid-November to like mid-January.
Oh wow. My
Yeah.
mother-in-law is the same way. But it's year round. She watches Hallmark movies year round. And do we tease her relentlessly about it.
Just
I
the one where
walked
the
in
guy
and there
falls in
was-
love with the girl.
I
In a small
walked in the
town.
other day and there's Lacey Chavez, and I'm like, yeah, I'd do that. And then I walked out of the room.
As he got smacked in the face.
priorities. Yeah, shit thrown at me. It's just that's my life right there.
Pick your
Oh, my.
battles. Pick your battles.
Pick them.
So yeah, cool. Colton, we do have an email. I want you to read that real quick before we get into the old question of the pod.
All right, I can do that for you, man. It's one is speaking of callbacks. Can we call back the time that Snake Plissken backed into my parked car at Bill and Kelly's? Yeah, Snake. Don't think that didn't go unnoticed. I hope Chrissy teaches those kids how to drive. Also, cars roll forward in neutral, not drive. Wink, wink.
Call back.
Jake's car stalled in the middle of Old 30 during a winter storm, and we had to go to basketball practice. And we're trying to push it, and it's not going anywhere. And like it's taking up half of Old 30. And Jake is at this point in time, like my mom and sister have come out to help push, and we're trying to get this thing moving, and it's not moving. And my mom goes, "Is it in neutral?" And Jake goes, just almost seriously, he goes, "No, it's in drive. It's got to go forward." And I was like, "You idiot!" So we put it in neutral, and guess what happened?
It moved.
Puppy just slid into the driveway like it was nothing. I was pissed. I was not a happy camper.
Wait, is that the Jake the Snake that I just had a full blown conversation with on Tuesday night? And
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
That's Snake.
That's,
He who should not be named.
Who shall not be named.
Then we have love you boys, kiss those babies for me, oldest sister. So Samantha, thanks for the emails. Thanks for sending it to the callguyspodcast at gmail.com. Really appreciate that time that you took. I'm sure we'll kiss those babies for you. So Gunnar,
And
how is your child?
She's wonderful.
That's
8
good.
pounds, 8 pounds, 10 ounces.
Oh geez.
She's growing slowly.
That's just over Josie's starting weight.
Yeah, she's healthy, she's happy, she's eating, she's sleeping, she's doing everything a baby should do. So
Good.
yeah.
Hey, Cole, I
Emperor.
got a question.
Oh
Real
yeah,
quick.
what's up?
When you and Jake were both talking about favorite childhood memories from when you were
Uh-huh.
young,
Yeah.
neither one of you said winning the state championship in basketball.
Well, I wouldn't say that's a childhood memory. I would go with
you were in high school. You were a child to me.
That's a good point. I mean, that's a good point. Looking back at it, like you should definitely be considered a child until you're out of high school. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Jeremy knows this because I've talked to him about it because he brings it up a lot of the times. I just don't like to talk about it.
It's true. It's true. That's
I
why we
mean, I
don't
just-
talk about it anymore.
I don't know. Well, I just had a phone call with a buddy who's up here, and he was talking to this guy, and he goes, "Hey, I talked to a guy from Bourbon." I said, "Oh, okay, cool." I was like, "Who was it?" And he said, "I didn't know the name, but of course, the last name sounds familiar because it's Bourbon." And I go, "Yeah, I don't know that." And he goes, So then my buddy asked, "Hey, did you know Colton Keel?" And he goes, "Yeah, real good basketball player, led the team at state and had a tip in at win semi-state, blah, 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 and all that stuff." And I was like, awesome. That's just fantastic. It still
Other
goes
people know
around.
Colton.
But your best game is still talked about Bowman Academy.
Well, okay, so I'll say this. That wasn't my personal best game. I was actually playing with pneumonia that game. And
Oh, I know that, but you won the damn game. You
that
had the tip in the end.
So that is gone. That's gone down as one of the greatest games ever in Triton history.
Well, yeah.
That's ever been played is the Bowman Academy game, and that was a really, really good team win, and I'm really proud of that game. Than a lot of the other games that I had game winners in. So that was a great game to be a part of. I'll be honest though, I only remember parts and pieces of it because I was so out of it and drugged up and throwing up.
Oh,
I
nice.
was every which way but straight for that game. So
Yeah. I
don't
remember
even-
you being sick. Your mom was telling us, "Oh, he's so sick."
Yeah, I would literally get subbed out. I would get subbed out, run behind, and I would probably walk or jog behind the bench, like where that, the mudroom doors are, and I
Mhm.
would throw up into a trash can. And then when I was kind of like done purging myself of all the water I drank, and I would go back, get some water, and go back to the scores bench and say, "Who am I going for?" And I'll never forget. It was probably I think it was the first time I threw up for that Bowman game, and there was a guy back there, like just standing, like he was just standing back there. He was one of those guys that needed room to like express himself and like process things. And I go back there and he's just looking at me weird. And I didn't think anything of it. I was just looking at the trash can. And I remember looking down at him, and I just see him like walk up the stairs and just wait. Yeah, I don't know if he was doing well with that, but every time he saw me come, he bounced.
Keep going.
But yeah, that Bowman game. Yeah. Yeah. Mr. Taylor, I actually remember I think I have either videos or pictures of you at those games.
Mhm. I was always in the front row. That's
Yeah.
right to be.
Yeah, you were. I remember that.
Montebano didn't take up everything. Sorry.
Oh man. Nah, you were good. If you were by my mom and my mom says you wanted to be down there, you were down there. So yeah, like Jeremy says, I'll reminisce on the stories like I just told all the live long day, but I was just a part of a really good basketball team, and I just happened to be above average than a lot of other people that we played. So, it is pretty cool, but like I'll never bring it up first. I'll never bring it up. Unless it's with Jake or Jordan, then I'll definitely bring up something that I did.
Understandable.
So I'm just glad, it's still talked about to an extent, because I get a lot of crap of it being living in the Fort Wayne area, because they're all big 4A schools around here. And they're like, "Oh, little 1A schools. Oh, anybody could have done that. Blah, 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 blah."
No, they couldn't.
I agree, but hard to tell that to big city folks. So, so yeah, Emperor, you were going to say something about my sister, I think.
I was going to say Samantha should send more emails with more stories, but she should make sure she says something about the Emperor in every email.
Well, if she's listening to this, if she's still listening to this, I'm sure the next email we get, it'll definitely have a little homage to the Emperor.
That's
Just
right.
make sure it says "suck it" afterwards.
That's right. Suck it, Colton. Hey, let's keep going, Gunner. What do we got next?
Oh, we got
This is-
the question of the pod, which I did send you guys before because I figured it'd be a little bit tougher of a question to answer on the spot. So, the question of the pod.
80s
edition.
Suck it, Colton.
I refuse to be a part of this show if that is how we're going to go about this.
We didn't even rehearse that.
Oh,
Sure.
So here you go. Question of the pod. If you could take any piece of pop culture from the 80s, delete it from history, and release it as if it were new, what would you choose? It can be movies, shows, video games, toys, any of that. And I'll go first.
you're going to go first?
I'm going to go first.
All right.
And it's because this is one of the biggest fidget puzzle toys ever. I'm going to go Rubik's Cube because of how popular that kind of thing is right now. Like, people still buy Rubik's Cubes. Imagine if you were the one, if you could take that away from history and release it today, how many people would buy that darn thing?
Oh, wow. That's a good point.
Yeah. That was one of the first things I thought of when I thought of the question.
All right.
That's
Who wants to
good.
go next?
I can go if you guys are still thinking.
Yeah.
They've had the question all day. I
I
sent it
know.
at 5 a.m.
They don't. The listeners don't need to know that, Gunner. Come on.
I was wide awake.
I would go back, and I would love to be a part of the punk scene that really took off in the 80s. I know a lot of the punk bands started in the late 70s, mid to late 70s, but they kind of had their better albums in the 80s. I would love to take that punk scene, get rid of it altogether, and bring it into today's world. Like, have that music be what it was about and go from there, especially in this world that we live in where everybody has to express themselves. Like, I feel like the punk scene would be so huge right now if that's when they came in was now. So I definitely went with that because I was like, man, I was thinking like Misfits, Descendants, Dead Kennedys. I was like, man, you bring them in today, it's gonna be
Iggy Pop. No Iggy Pop.
nah,
No
nah,
Iggy Pop.
I didn't.
Wasn't he considered punk?
I thought he was the godfather of
Well,
punk.
he might be. I don't think so.
Okay.
Like Ramones.
Yeah,
I was-
they're all the great ones. I
Yeah.
mean, it's that type of music is something that you have to. I think you have to. I don't know. For me, it was always about kind of acquiring the taste of punk. The punk that I really love, Green Day, Blink-182, that era.
Yeah.
Will definitely get your juices flowing for the older stuff. And then, but some of it was just a little, I mean, you really had to kind of acquire that taste for it. But I mean, there were some great musicians, and I wish I would have gotten into CBGB's and in New York long before they closed up and kind of went to the shithole that they ended up being. But to see some of those great bands and take in that culture that from back then.
So you say punk, and I don't think Green Day or anything like that. I automatically think Sex Pistols.
Right.
Yeah. They're another original.
But they're 70s, I believe they started in the 70s.
Yeah, they started in the 70s. And I think that's kind of the thing. I felt like they might have took off and they might have got started in the 70s, but really felt like some of their 80s albums really took off and really is what kind of really transcended the punk scene that we have now, like with Green Day and Blink and all those bands. Because I mean, the Descendants, Blink is, they'll tell anybody the Descendants is like their huge biggest influence as a band.
And if you really listen to early Green Day, you'll have more of that sense of the older punk feel.
Yeah.
It wasn't until they really kind of hit with the whole, what is it, the Dookie album or whatever. I'm not sure exactly which album was the big one that really kind of shot them up, and they actually lost a lot of their punk followers because of being able to go back into basically top 40 radio. So it was a tough thing. All right, guys, so here's mine, and mine's not quite as good as yours, but if I had to delete something from the day and bring it back now, how magnificent would it be to bring back the mullet? That beautiful business in the front, party in the back.
I still think people do that, though.
I know, really, but if you just want to introduce it as something new, now it's called the Kentucky Waterfall. And that is Fat Billy Ray approved. But let's bring back the mullet. Let's bring back the glory of a nice tight top and a loose bottom. Let's bring it, boys.
Reset the mullet. You could be the first person with it. Shit, you just do a shortcut up front, and then you get the long hair and back already. And
look, like it's already getting there. Look at that.
Drive out to like New York and do a photo shoot and get your face on some billboards, and people would be all about it.
Think about this: me on a billboard, my mullet, and a pair of white Calvin Kleins, and the old belly sticking out, the old dad bod.
That's America.
Boom! That is America. America.
What you got?
All right, Frankie. What do you got, buddy?
Yeah, Frankie, what you got?
I don't. I was telling Golden Jay, the Emperor, Jeremy, whatever you want to call him,
Dad.
Dad.
You're not allowed to call me daddy.
Daddy.
You suckle in the teeth.
Suckle at the teat. Good Lord. You people.
No, I was like trying to think of something, and I'm like, man, I just don't know what you could bring from the 80s that would be relevant for today, that would work. And I kind of thought maybe bring back the movie. I kind of thought of this a little bit ago while we were waiting to go on. Bring back the movie The Breakfast Club with a new cast and do it for today's teenagers.
Do a remake of it.
See how it goes over, you know.
Well, it wouldn't be a remake. It'd be the original Breakfast
The
Club.
original.
It'd be-
The
yeah, it would be
original.
the-
You're
it would
right.
be-
You're right.
But
Yeah. And just to see.
What if you just brought who's that? What's his name? The director.
Judd Nelson. Oh,
Got-
John Hughes.
John Hughes. Bring him back. Take him out of the 80s altogether and have him with the ideas of the movies that he has. Do those in today's world.
That'd be pretty
yeah,
awesome.
that would, yeah.
You just answered Brandon's question. For
I was gonna say you're welcome, Brandon.
Thank you. I owe you one, Colton.
I'll remember that.
like owing one becomes a 4-pack of Guinness.
Yeah. That's what it takes.
Oh man.
No, that's good. Good answers. We all went somewhere a little different.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I did
absolutely.
like
See, it was nice to send it beforehand, and everybody's not going, yes.
We're still golden 80s are good on the fly though.
That's true. This is the Call Guys 80s podcast.
Yeah. Oh, you don't know how many times the question of the pod 80s edition,
80s it is.
how I just come,
Suck a cold.
I make it up. Yeah, suck it, Colton. Yeah. How I just make stuff up right there when Jeremy asked me and I make something up.
If you could do that. Yeah. All right. Well, are you guys ready?
Absolutely.
Certified Rotten Part
Oh.
2. I'm assuming both of you listened to Part 1. Obviously, we
Yeah.
did.
Oh, yeah.
We did Kong.
Yeah, I
the
emailed you on
70.
that, yeah.
Yes,
Did you?
did.
Yeah, you did. You did, Frankie. Did you guys watch it?
I've seen it so many times.
Well,
I
you-
didn't need to rewatch
76.
it.
76 King Kong was.
I seen it at
uh,
the drive-in, man, in Warsaw. That's how
Yeah.
old I am.
I did see a movie. I did see a movie at the Warsaw Drive-In.
You remember what it was?
Three Ninjas.
Oh, jeez.
I went to the Warsaw Drive-In a lot. I don't ever remember watching a movie.
Oh, Fat Billy Ray approved.
I think you're here, Gunner.
So yeah. Hey, wait a second.
We know where Gunner was conceived, I guess.
Back of a pickup truck
In a lawn chair.
while watching the Cannonball Run
Oh yeah, that's what I thought.
3.
3. Oh god.
Okay.
Okay,
Let's
seriously.
get serious. Let's get
It was
serious.
Okay,
because
let's talk.
this is Certified Rotten, the 80s. Obviously, we've got the Golden 80s podcast because this is an 80s movie. It was released June 19th, 1981, directed by Hal Needham. Had a budget of 17 million, box office 11,
Oops.
and then
Wow.
it's grossed 72 over its lifetime as a movie. So
So that's how it got a sequel.
most movies budgets anymore are more than what it's grossed in its entire lifetime as a movie. So it's starring Burt Reynolds, Dom DeLuise, Roger Moore, Farrah Fawcett, Jackie Chan, Mel Tillis, Terry Bradshaw. You can keep going because it's insane, this list of
I
actors
love
and
this.
actresses
I
and
love
randoms.
this. Love this cast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was the best part of the whole movie.
Oh, well, for sure. You just seeing the faces. Like you look at Terry Bradshaw and you go, "Is that Terry Bradshaw?" And you gotta look it up on your phone.
Different.
Yeah, he kind of doesn't. But yeah, this movie is about a race across the country. It's from was it
Virginia. I
Virginia,
believe is where they
Virginia to
stopped.
Virginia to
LA.
California. Over 3,000 miles. There's multiple teams doing what they call the Cannonball Run, and so you follow literally just about every team throughout this whole movie, and you just watch their situations as they go. So
The shenanigans ensue as soon as the race, even
yeah,
before the race
even
begins.
even before. This does fall under our Certified Rotten.
Oh, does it?
Yes, it has a 29% on Rotten Tomatoes. It has a 6.2 out of 10 on IMDb, which I was kind of surprised about. But yes, according to the audience scores on Rotten Tomatoes, this movie is worse than Kong. So, and
Agreed.
yes, so we might all agree with that.
I don't know about that. I'm here for that one.
Yeah. So let's talk cast because there's like I said, there's a lot of people, and I was talking to the Emperor I think yesterday, and we just kind of were listing some of the people off. I know you listed a couple of them. I didn't even have on my list. Um, the main
Mel
one,
Tillis and
yeah,
Dean
Mel
Martin,
Tillis.
I think were a couple of them you didn't have on your list.
Yep.
Yeah.
Um,
Dino and Sammy Davis.
yeah, Sammy Davis Jr. And of course, I don't know if you mentioned it. I can't remember. Did you mention Jackie Chan?
Yes, I did. Actually, fun fact on Jackie Chan, he does play himself in this movie,
Uh-huh.
and it's
Yep.
his first U.S. film. So first film he ever did, and he literally speaks all Japanese or Chinese throughout the entire.
Yes, he does.
So-
Yes, he does.
and
Those
he
two
doesn't
guys-
have subtitles half the time either.
Those
No,
two
I think
guys
there's
in
only
that car.
subtitles twice in the whole movie for
Yeah,
him.
yeah. Those two guys, hilarious.
Those
under-
two guys in that car with those red night vision
vision.
goggles
Oh my
on.
gosh.
no headlights, spinning 360s and trying to
Yeah.
find the right route. Yeah,
They kept yelling at the computer for it being wrong.
Jackie Chan watching porn.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Oh, yeah.
pops in that VHS.
Yeah, there were this movie had some funny moments, but the whole time I just kind of felt dumbfounded because I couldn't follow it. Like I just couldn't follow any of this movie
It
at all.
was
So
it kind of, you know what it kind of reminded me of? It kind of reminds me of a Napoleon Dynamite type movie. No plot. It's really stupid, but there are just some hilarious moments that happen that really make this movie the movie.
Yeah.
And it's hard to follow along because you don't know where the heck they're at 90% of the time until they get pulled over and they're talking to a cop of a state
I should
that
look
they
up how
broke a
much.
law in.
Should look up how much time Burt Reynolds actually had on screen, being literally the main character, right? Like he was the main
Oh,
character of
yeah.
this movie, and he probably had just as much screen time as.
Sammy Davis.
Yeah, exactly. So let's go initial thoughts. You guys watch this. I know obviously the Emperor and Brandon have probably watched this before. I'd never seen this movie before. Colton, you said you did watch it when you were younger.
I used to own it.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna come out. I'm gonna come out of the gates first on this one. I don't remember this movie being this bad because I've watched it. I can't tell you how many times I've watched it because, I love Sammy Davis Jr. and Dean Martin. You know, I'm a Rat Pack guy, so when those two teamed up, I think it was just fantastic. Maybe it was just I'm seeing it with more mature eyes, but oh my gosh, it is so terrible. It's such a bad movie. And I've rave about the cast. The cast is phenomenal. I mean, you wouldn't think a movie with all these people in it would be terrible. But let me tell you, they nailed it.
Yeah, they
Oh.
nailed the coffin on that one. Yeah.
So that's what, I'm glad I can't find that movie anymore. So my son doesn't have to watch it.
Oh, you can watch it all 11 parts on YouTube.
Oh man.
What do you guys got? Initial thoughts?
Well, okay. So my initial thoughts is I'm gonna let you in on this, Frankie, and then I'll let you go next. But my initial thoughts was I first remember watching, I believe, watching this movie on the original disc players that you could get, and it was a cartridge, and it was it was a good sized cartridge, like maybe an album, like a vinyl sized cartridge, and he slid this thing in, and he had a lever, and he slammed it down, and he pulled the casing back out, and it was dual sided. And if I remember right, that's where I watched this original movie, and that's also where I seen Star Wars for the first time, was on one of these machines. And Best Little House in Texas was the first I saw it. But if you go back to original disc machines, you can find these on the internet, major vintage. But I had forgotten how discombobulated this movie was. I mean, I remember Burt Reynolds and Dom DeLuise and him.
Farrah.
But Farrah Fawcett, yeah. Oh my God. I remember loving Farrah Fawcett. I forgot how smoking hot she was. Oh my God. I mean, the hair,
prime
the
Farrah.
face.
This is prime Farrah.
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, discombobulated. It was like you never got like something. It never finished with this scene before it went to the next scene, and it was just
100%.
like,
no, it was.
oh my god! And of course, the rocker chick watched it with me because we were watching it on YouTube, and she looked at me, and I mean, if daggers could kill,
I
I'd
hate
be
you.
yeah. With every fiber of her being, she hated me for making her watch that movie. But you talk about the Brat Pack. You know who one of my favorite characters, and he was only in there for a little bit. Peter Fonda was in it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
as a biker,
Yep.
and he was and Easy Rider is one of the main characters in
Yep.
that with Jack Nicholson and
Yep.
what's his name, Brandon? Damn, you know him. I mean, stupid.
I
got it. I got it. Well, he was the bad guy in Speed. What was
Dennis
Hopper? Dennis Hopper. Yeah.
Dennis Hopper.
Hopper.
Yeah.
Sorry. Jamie Farr was in it. We talked about MASH in our last episode that we did. Just so many great people in this, and you get so much of them. And if you watch the bloopers and do some research, the Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., Burt Reynolds, their reaction was so off script. A lot of the shit that they did in this movie was just so.
Oh yeah, you see it in that last scene even.
Oh yeah,
the last scene you see it.
Oh yeah,
where he comes out and he's like, "That's all right, I'll just be Captain USA." And then they all just start dying laughing because it didn't. Yeah,
absolutely. So I mean, it has some great moments in it. You forget the genius of Burt Reynolds and Dom DeLuise together until you go back and kind of watch that. But the idea of the storyline, the idea is there, but damn, they just did a horrible job kind of putting it together. Frankie, what do you got?
I couldn't get into it. I mean, I kept falling asleep, so I can only remember bits and pieces. It was just, I'm old, you got to catch my attention right from the start, or I'm pretty much worthless with movies. But from what I've seen, I had a few characters that I really liked, but I just had the movie as a whole, I just couldn't get into it. Now, I did like the bloopers at the end. I thought that was pretty hilarious.
Yep.
Great cast. That's a movie that I would like to see recast with today's stars.
We'll get into that here in a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't mean to steal your
thunder.
Oh my gosh, you're already taking it now.
Wow, great. Oh, well, might as well just end it here, Gunner.
Yeah, thank everybody for listening to the guy. Brandon just ruined it.
but I mean, I think it was probably okay for what it was. But I think you guys have all said it so far. It just wasn't put together good. It was kind of like all over the place, and
it's almost like they gave the editor the stuff and said, "Hey, we need you to make a movie out of this."
Yeah.
He's like,
it was hard. You'd be getting into one thing and then you'd lose it.
Yep.
Be going on. And Jackie Chan, I love Jackie Chan. Not in this movie.
I think it's hilarious.
Oh, I thought he was great. That fight scene at the end is phenomenal. The whole time he just wanted to fight. He just wanted to fight.
Yeah.
Fight and watch porn. I mean, that is a good life to have right there.
It's like Shanghai Noon.
Oh my gosh. Maybe that's where they got the idea for it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I'm just gonna repeat everything you guys said pretty much on reaction. I mean, Frankie, I fell asleep the first time I watched it. I think I made it through the first 3 parts on YouTube and I fell asleep. Got up the next morning and watched 4 through 7. And then when I got home in the afternoon, I watched the rest of it. And it wouldn't capture my attention. I tried and I tried and I tried. The one thing that caught my attention was right at the start. And was when they were running the 20th Century Fox logo or 20th Century whatever, and it had the car chase on it. And I was like, oh, that's cool. That's awesome. That animation, that's like different. They never did that for anything else. So it's like,
did they do that for Smoking the Bandit too?
I don't remember.
I'm gonna have to go back and look at that.
But I saw that and I was like, and then it kind of flows into that first scene with the 2 girls in the Lambo running from the cops. And it's like, maybe this is gonna be a good movie, and then it just went downhill. So.
Downhill super quick.
Yeah, and it took its own Cannonball Run,
running down your leg.
Yeah. So, did you guys have a favorite Cannonball team out of all the teams that were running? And Frankie, I know you said you didn't like Jackie Chan, but I'm gonna say my favorite was was the Jackie Chan's team. I just thought they were fun. I mean, just they were comedic relief throughout everything they did. It was just them arguing with each other and messing up their route. So
For me, it got to be Burt Reynolds. That team with Captain Chaos and Burt Reynolds' character, whatever his name was.
was that him? Was Captain Chaos him? Is that what they were referring
What?
to?
Yes.
As
That's
him.
what
Okay.
I believe. Yeah,
And that was like they didn't really ever explain it until he just like popped in as Captain Chaos, and it's like,
Captain
Oh,
Chaos.
maybe
Didn't catch that?
no, dude, I was
Yeah.
so
You
lost
didn't
in
know
this
Dom
entire movie.
DeLuise was Dom.
Well, he
Dun,
sits
dun,
down
dun,
at
dun.
he sits down at one time and Dom DeLuise is doing a bit
I
with
probably missed
Farrah
it.
Fawcett.
Farrah Fawcett, yeah.
Yeah,
And
and
it's
he
just those two.
explains
And he
the whole
When
he
they're sitting up
explains
front,
it.
when they're sitting up front, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay,
He
Yeah.
explains the alter ego that is Captain Chaos.
Yeah. And I like Dr. Van Helsing with him.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
gosh. You ever drink that? You ever drink that stuff?
I just had a little bit of this.
No, I like that character actor that plays him.
Yeah,
Elam, yeah.
Jack Elam, yeah. I've always found him pretty entertaining in anything I've seen him in. Love that.
Yeah, he plays a great crazy guy.
yeah, the crazy eyes and the
I'm gonna go with the Dean Martin and Sammy Davis. Like I said, I'm a Rat Pack guy. So when those two, I remember watching those two, and they just work so well together. And this is kind of in the later years of their lives, actually. And because Sammy doesn't make it much longer, I think past. Because didn't Sammy die in like the early '90s? I think.
He died.
Well,
I guess
we'll
I
have
could
to
look
it
it
up.
up. I could look it up. right now.
1990.
Yeah, 90. I mean, so,
Yep.
and I think this might be close. I mean, last
about 10
5,
years.
maybe.
About 10 years. Because this was what, 80?
it was
81.
81.
81.
81. Well, yeah, he did some other stuff too along the way. So I guess, not the last thing, but maybe his last thing he did with Dean. I don't know.
Right.
So I mean, with that being said, yeah, those two together, they just work so well together, and they're funny. Every time Sammy was calling on the phone, somebody's calling the bookie about a bet and odds, and it's just so stupid.
Yeah, Dean Martin, you're gonna take these rosary beans and you're gonna put them up my nose?
Yeah. Yeah. And then I think my favorite interaction is with Jack Elam at the end, where he stabs the guy that's getting ready to punch Dean. He goes,
right.
And Dean goes, "You ever drink that?" He goes, "Oh, I don't know."
I want to know where he keeps refilling that syringe at. I'm gonna go with the Sheik. Just because everybody else kind of picked around the board there.
Okay.
I mean, I was gonna go, if you anytime Farrah Fawcett was on screen was, had my complete attention, but Jamie Farr as the Sheik and just running around like, you don't know who I am. I am the most important person to ever walk the face of the earth, and I'm going to, buy everything. And I enjoyed that character. I'm a big Jamie Farr fan anyway, so from his time in MASH and some of the other stuff he's done. But that I'll have to go with the Sheik. I think that was my favorite team.
Nobody picked the girls. Adrian, Barbeau and the
yeah.
other one.
Yeah. What was the other one's name? She's not even on my list here.
Who was it? Marcy and
yeah, exactly. You got Marcy and who?
the other one.
The other one. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I remember age what?
No, that
AJ
was that was the joke that everyone would be like, that one guy, Voight.
Oh yeah, yep. I don't know. They were predictable. You knew that.
Oh, it's a typical 80s movie.
Absolutely.
Like, 80s, I felt like the 80s is known for just pumping out movies. Like studios just made movies all the freaking time. And this is just to me just feels like it's a typical movie that the studio had to get out, and it looks like it was a rush job too. So
Yeah.
I told you they handed the editor this thing and said, "Make it, put it together, puzzle it."
Now, there is a line in this movie that I still use to this day, and nobody ever gets it. And that is when Bradshaw and Mel Tillis are loading the car. And he's like, "Do you think we have enough beer?" And Mel Tillis is like, "Plenty." And then he was like, "We got enough food." And he holds up like the one bag of chips. And he's like, "Plenty." And I do that all the time, and nobody ever fucking gets it. I just kind of, continue with my life.
Doesn't he
We
ask
must
about
be the
ice
four
at one
people who've
point
only
too?
seen that movie.
Yeah,
I know. Plenty.
plenty. Okay, so let's go. Least favorite character, least favorite Cannonball team. Did you have a least favorite?
I personally, to me, it's the married couple on the bike doing the wheelie the whole time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense. It was
That one was probably the one that made the least amount of sense. Especially when they finally stop and they say, "Hey, I told you this is a good idea." It'd be like, how is riding a wheelie across the United States a good idea? There's no way that'd be comfortable, let alone doable.
He's like on the back.
And he ain't
Lean
the
forward.
and he ain't the smallest one of the two.
Yeah.
I'm gonna agree with you. That was probably my least favorite.
Yeah.
They could have taken them completely out. And
I was gonna say Jackie Chan, but you're right.
I mean, the only thing they're good for is starting that fight at the end for no reason. Like it could have been anybody,
uh-huh.
and they have no reason why they picked on him. They just did. I was
Yeah.
like,
To me,
what about
to
you,
me,
Gunnar?
to me, I think it could have been a lot of them, and I think that the way that they wrote this, like they didn't really need to even introduce a lot of the teams. Like it could have just been cars. You could have just had people in cars and had your main like 6 teams: the Priest and Roger Moore and JJ
Roger.
and,
Oh man,
and like just the main ones that you want to see the story for, and just put everybody else in a car and make it that car. And so I didn't really have a least favorite. I didn't really have a full on favorite though either. So I mean, it's,
I like the Roger Moore because I like the way they basically had him playing James Bond,
Bond.
Right.
pretending to
exactly.
be James Bond.
yeah,
We
that
do,
was
we
fun.
do. Are we doing
Wow.
favorite scene, Gunner?
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
Actually, let's do
All
it
right.
now. Let's do it. Favorite scene.
All right. Favorite scene. I don't know if you guys caught on to this or noticed this, but every time that there was I would say a medium shot of Sean Connery, Roger Moore in the car and they're driving, there was always a different girl that
Yep,
he had in the car.
absolutely.
Every time.
Every time.
And they're all talking about it. And then at the end, the last girl is so excited that she's gonna tell all of her friends that it was oh man, what's that quote? She didn't say Roger Moore. She said some other person, and Roger goes, "What?"
Yeah.
It just the disdain in his voice. It was classic. So I would say that was my favorite scene. Is every time that it was Roger Moore and a girl in the car, it was always a different girl.
Yeah.
And he's talking about his movies, and it's like he couldn't talk about his movies, so he was talking around his movies.
Don't press that button.
Press that button.
Wait,
Why isn't that button working?
that was hilarious. Yeah.
How'd you like this?
Cigarette lighter.
Well, my favorite, because I already talked about it, is when Bradshaw and Mel Tillis are loading the car
Doing the
with
beer.
beer and
Yeah.
like I said, that's that line that sticks with me. Is that the whole movie, besides Burt Reynolds' laugh, I wish I could do that laugh, but that's my favorite scenes when they're loading the car with all the beer and the one bag of chips, small bags.
Brandon.
I think mine when Van Helsing was trying to give Farrah Fawcett the shot, he had to give it to himself first. And get that look on his
Twice.
face was just priceless.
Yeah.
I
Um.
didn't find that hilarious.
Yeah. I'm going Van Helsing too. Actually, I have it written down. I mean, I thought that meeting him right off the start where he comes in, I thought his character was hilarious, and just that whole first scene where he's actually I think my favorite scene of him was when he plays it off with the cops and he gets so
Uh-huh.
serious, and that you didn't expect it from him. So
His fee starts off at $5,000, and
Yeah.
I was thinking more like 200.
I was thinking more like
Okay.
200.
Let me consult. Let me check my
check my calendar.
yeah. So Brandon mentioned already, but remake. Would you like to see a remake of this movie?
Yes.
Would it be something that would be?
You couldn't remake this movie in today's world. How in the heck did those cops not, because there's no computer system. Like if this was real, like in today's world and society, they would have been in the system and their names would have popped up every time they got pulled over. The women who won, there's no way they would have got across country, being able to get away with the assets and being able to get out of tickets that way because it would pop up. And
That's
it would
it's a movie.
come on, but the premise.
Okay, but what if they remade it? What if they remade it set in this time, right? Like not with all the technology and all that. Don't remake it in today's time. Remake it as an 80s movie, but today with today's actors, today's technology. I think that could work.
How are you going to get how are you going to get these top tier actors and actresses of today's time in this crappy movie?
Well, it's going to be their good movie.
Yeah, they're going to make it better.
It can only get better.
Yeah.
AI could write a better script than this and then edit a better movie. Guaranteed.
Golden Mojo Entertainment presents
The Cannonball.
the Cannonball Run.
Yeah.
What actually happened?
Golden, what kind of car do you want?
What?
What kind of car do you want?
Oh, I would take a Murcielago.
You're getting a Ford Fiesta. I got-
I'll drive the
Yes.
ambulance. Can I drive the ambulance?
Get that little piece of
Colton be
longer
popping,
than a Ford Fiesta.
Colton be popping 40s.
Just rip the
Ford
front
Fiesta.
seat out. You sit in the back. I'm thinking we could shoot this movie, Brandon. What do you
We
think?
could.
All
Let's
right.
do it. Along with my Breakfast Club movie.
That's right. We're getting them all
Oh
done.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's not a half bad. I actually, you brought that script to life, and I was like, I think we could probably tweak that a little bit to make it a little bit more in today's time. And I think you got something there.
Oh, I agree. When I was listening back to it, when after we recorded it and then posted it, I was listening back to it, and I kept thinking, I think he's on to something. He just needs to find that old script.
Yeah. That's long gone. I mean, we
Still
can
in my brain.
rewrite it if y'all want to sit down and do it. But I'm sitting here recasting Cannonball Run in my head now.
Who would you cast as?
Yeah.
Are you going to get to this?
No, let's go for it. Though. That's a great question.
Oh, well,
Who's Bert?
I just have the first two. J.J. McClure, which was Burt Reynolds.
Uh huh.
That's a tough one though, because there's a couple running through my head.
Yeah.
Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel.
No.
Yeah.
I feel like they've already made this movie.
No, I'm yeah. No, I was thinking all of a sudden his name just went out of my head and I can't think of it.
What's he do? Give us
Matthew McConaughey.
Oh shit! The bed. That would be
That's
great.
not bad.
And then
That would be great.
as Victor Frenzy,
Uh huh.
Jack Black.
Not bad. I can see that. Can you see the two of them together? All right. All right. All right.
That's what I've got so far.
I could see like a Miles Teller and a
Fastest
JJ.
Farrah Fawcett.
That's Farrah Fawcett.
Yeah. Oh, what's her name? The girl who plays Wednesday, Jenna Ortega.
Oh, Jenna
Jenna
Ortega.
Yeah. Yeah. I think she'd be good.
Or what we just talked about last podcast, Danielle Harris.
Oh my god. She's a little old to play that part.
Yeah.
Seymour. You get Daniel Craig. You get Daniel Craig to play the Roger
Oh,
Moore
yeah.
role.
Absolutely.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
How awesome would that be?
You know what you do though? You get
Jackie
Jackie Chan to
Chan.
play Jackie Chan.
Yes, 100%.
Yes, 100%.
Oh,
Owen
damn.
Wilson as his counterpart.
Oh god.
We just spent the budget that
Yep,
they did
that's right.
originally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing for this movie. If you're gonna get a star-studded cast, you're gonna spend a lot of money these days to reshoot this movie. But I think that the Cannonball Run, this original film, probably has a huge cult following of people that just really love this movie. And I think that if there was a remake, it would that table would flip. You'd get the people that hated this loving the new one, and the people
Yeah.
loving the old one.
Oh,
would
for
hate the new
sure.
one. So
Yeah.
I think it'd probably get some popularity. It'd probably
Mhm.
do really well.
Oh my gosh, the guy who plays Sheik would be you guys ever see The League?
A little bit.
I know of
Fantasy,
it. I don't know.
fantasy
Watch it.
football. It's on FX.
Yeah.
The crazy brother-in-law of Ruxin. What's his name? He does a lot. He's been doing a lot of stuff. Oh man, it's gonna bug me big time.
You're losing them, Colton. You're losing them.
Jason Mantzoukas. He's comic relief in a lot of stuff, pretty much in everything he does. You'd recognize him if you saw him.
Absolutely, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's in. Yeah, I don't know. He just always like plays like the side funny character in almost everything he does. Man, yeah, I don't know. That's honestly, outside of that, I don't know who would be the Dean Martin, Sammy Davis.
That's what I was thinking of. You'd
Junior
have to have
bit.
that. You'd have to have that duo that have worked together before to really kind of pull that off.
Eddie Murphy, Dan Aykroyd.
Oh gosh.
I was going more like you get like a Seth Green type and maybe like a Matthew Lillard or something like.
Oh yeah,
Eddie Murphy,
a
Nick
good-
Nolte.
There you go. I think I've seen that
Gunner.
movie.
Gunner's like.
Let's just make Eddie Murphy can be everybody.
Yeah, Eddie Murphy did the whole thing.
I
Well,
ain't fun
you
if no banana tape.
Oh,
man.
Yeah, I think you could have a lot of fun with that.
Oh, yeah.
Terry Bradshaw is Terry Bradshaw.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Terry did some heavy lifting in that movie.
Plenty.
All right, so let's do. Do you guys have anything else you want to talk before we get final thoughts and your rating?
Let's
Anything
get
else
this
you wanna
over with.
Yeah,
It's so-
All right, so final thoughts. Anything you want to say about the movie?
Why did they make a second one?
I don't know, but I'm not going to watch it.
I'm not gonna watch it.
I want
it's
to watch
not
it
any
to see if
better.
it's bad. Did you
It's-
watch it?
It's not any better.
Oh, okay. I'm not gonna watch it either. I'm trying to remember if I watched it back in the day because, like I said, growing up, Cannonball Run was a staple as far as a movie. Burt Reynolds, Dom DeLuise. I mean, we watched it. We watched it quite a bit, along with Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, which was another just kind of dumb movie, but it just I don't know. That was Burt Reynolds also.
Burt Reynolds and Dolly Parton.
Yeah. Smoking the Bandit. I know I've seen Smoking the Bandit many times, but I'd have to watch it again to remember any of it. I know at one of them they had an elephant. Like, was that 3 or some shit like that? Where they were hauling
Smokey is the bandit.
But final thoughts is that I think that this movie for at that time was perfect. It was what it was in 1981, and it only did 11,000 at the box office. But didn't you tell me it grossed over time 70 million or something like that?
72, yeah.
72. So I mean, it's done well over the years. But
all
it was a box
30,
office flop.
32
Yeah,
of them.
it's a
Or-
box office
yeah,
flop. It is
42
what
of
it
them.
is. So yeah,
It's
it's not going to make Gunner's Wall.
no.
No, I
Shouldn't make anybody's wall.
I hope not. There's somebody out there that has like a disc plate, big old disc plate
Oh, yeah.
attached to their big magnetic thing on their wall. Cannonball Run, Burt Reynolds, big old
Burt
face.
Reynolds face.
Favorite line from Burt Reynolds though is that they're trying to figure out how to get across country, and they're scouting some stuff out, and he goes, "Maybe we should just get like a black Trans Am."
Yeah.
And he goes, we've done that before. They've already done that. I was like, oh, that's great. Great
Yeah.
callback.
Yep.
That's the other thing is this movie was so aware of everything. Like it was just like,
yeah.
people were named their own names. Roger Moore played James Bond. Like it was like,
He had the Aston Martin. I mean, he had.
yeah, that was cool. And I think that actually is what might have kept my attention more, is looking for those little Easter eggs.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
So there's my final thoughts. There were certain things about this movie that were fun, but there's no way I would ever even watch it again. Like I just couldn't put myself through it.
Listen, I'm going to make that our annual Christmas movie.
Oh,
No more It's a Wonderful Life. We're watching the Cannonball Run.
We're
Everybody,
watching the Cannonball Run.
and then if you're still awake, we're watching number 2.
Number 2. And then Smokey is the bandit.
Smokey.
Yeah.
Name
Yeah,
that
I
movie,
mean,
Colton.
if people want to go watch the movie, don't watch it on YouTube. Try to find
Go to the $5 bin.
Yep.
yeah, because it's just horrible watching it.
What is
I
that
think that
movie,
was part
Gunnar?
of the problem.
Bill and
Absolutely.
Ted's Bogus
Yeah.
Journey.
I'll try to figure out where that line comes. It's charades, man, in heaven. That's what charades
Oh, okay. I remember the scene now.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Brandon, did you give your final thoughts?
Yeah, just don't watch it on YouTube.
Okay. That's right. You did say that.
That's great.
horrible.
Those are great words.
$5 bin.
$5 ban. Yeah,
You
it's
can't
fine.
stream it anywhere, though.
Oh no,
I
you
know.
can't.
No, it's nowhere.
It's funny because I'm trying to find it, and I came
Uh-huh.
across this article. It's called like movies that you can't find on any streaming app, and
There's a reason for that.
and Cannonball Run was one of them. I was like, well, son of a bitch.
I could have swore.
Oh.
I could have. That's on me, guys.
That
That's
is on
me.
Colton.
I literally swore that when I was doing the research for it, that it was on Amazon for free. I could have swore I saw it on there for free. And I was like, okay, yeah, everybody's got Amazon, just
Right.
pop it on there, hey, Alexa, turn on Cannonball Run, and Gunner goes, that movie's not anywhere. And I was like, what? And I was like, no.
I didn't know it was an 11-part YouTube series. I think
Yeah.
Porter told me that. I was like,
oh my god.
Yeah, I felt bad after I found that out. It's like, my dad. Gunner
We
goes,
would have
"Yeah,
done
my dad
Teen Wolf
found it."
too. This wouldn't have happened. That's what I wanted.
We should have done that. I said Teen Wolf
Actually,
2.
my wife said, "How do you do a bad 80s movie and not do Howard the Duck?"
Oh.
oh, that was a good one.
I mean, we wanted to actually, Oh Lord.
I talk about it's not my show. I don't know. They pick what we do.
this was a perfect movie for this subject because of the rating
Yeah.
and because of
Yeah.
what we're all about to rate this movie. So, what do you got?
What's its current-
Percentage
tell-
1 through 0
What is
through
the
100.
current rating?
29%.
Okay, so what you guys need to do is you guys need to say if you think that's accurate or not. And if it's not, you need to give a new rating. So, Emperor, start us off, brother.
28%. I'm going to say no. That is not. I'm going to say 14.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, Frankie, where are you at?
And it's like 0 to 100, right? Is that what they're? I've
Yep.
never.
Well, so
Push it
on
there.
Rotten Tomatoes, usually once it gets above 60, it's certified. It's
Certified fresh.
It's a fresh movie, and then if it stays above 60 for so long, it'll be
Oh.
certified fresh. And so it works the
Okay.
exact same way opposite.
Okay, well, it's not going to get anywhere near that. Yeah, I got to go lower. I would say no, it's not accurate. I would say maybe 12.
Oh,
that's
man.
bad. I just thought it was bad. It's just put together terrible. If they would have made it better, the way they put it together, it may have been all right. But I just
Right?
couldn't get into the format
That's
of it.
fair. That's fair. What do you got, Cole?
I'm looking at my notes over here. to see
I said,
what I
Gunner, do you
rated
have
Tom.
an answer, Gunner? If you got one, you can go.
I do, and I want to answer your question from the beginning when you said something about was this movie better than Kong? I'm gonna say no, it wasn't better than Kong.
There's
And I
no
definitely gave one of
way.
them, and I'm saying that 29% is not accurate. I'm giving this a 15.
Well, I guess I got to be that guy.
Colton's giving it certified fresh.
This movie is
62.
it's not accurate. This movie was ahead of its time in so many ways that even the panel here that we have gathered at the Call Guys podcast can't even fathom how great of a movie this really is. So with that being said, what is this rating right now? 24, 25,
29.
29? I am going to go out and say that this movie is not rated properly because it should be, because it is better than Kong. It needs to be at least 35.
Not even.
But I will tell you right now, I will not watch either of the movies. I mean, if anybody out there wants to, just watch it to see like what we're talking about, that would be great. We'd love
Maybe
to
you
hear your
own it.
feedback.
If you own Cannonball Run, let us know at thecallguyspodcast at
Send us a picture.
gmail.com.
I'll send you some Wally bucks.
I had, oh my gosh.
Hey, I got some. I'll
you
donate
better
them.
frame. You better frame those.
I
I'd
know.
Probably
frame
worth something someday.
We could sign them if you want.
Yeah.
To Frankie.
Love the call, guys.
Sorry about your
Oh,
loss.
God.
That's all right.
Oh, my-
Sorry about your loss. But yeah, no, I mean, I do remember watching this movie and thinking, you know what? I actually like this movie, you know? And then I watched it last night, and boy, oh boy, we were all young and dumb and made bad decisions at one point in time. This is one of those.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
Could've
it's not
been
as bad
worse.
as what you guys say.
Oh,
I
it
don't care
had
what
the
you say.
potential. It had potential to be a great movie.
Agree.
I didn't like the way they put it together.
Cult classic movie.
Cult classic. Absolutely.
Well,
Yeah, I would call it a cult classic because I know 100% there's a following out there for this movie.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
for
People
sure.
that probably watch it once or twice a year that love it to death.
Oh, yeah.
Only at
Wasn't the
Christmas.
fact that it had Burt Reynolds in it, and Burt Reynolds has got a
Yeah.
following.
Mhm.
You know what movie I really wanted to do? And I actually didn't know this until I started doing the research on it. I really wanted to do They Live.
Oh,
But I actually looked at it. It's like 80 something on Rotten Tomatoes. And I was like, whoa, I didn't know that. Like, that's taken the cult classic to a whole new level.
Are they remaking that?
There were talks that they might be doing a remake of it, not like verbatim, but they was
Right.
gonna have the same concept of the aliens being here and we are blind
Right on.
with how they do everything. So probably not gonna get made because they're gonna be like, hey, you guys remember that great movie in the 80s called They Live? And it's gonna be, hey, we're not doing that crap
But not
again.
touching that one with a 10-foot pole. Besides, Rowdy's not around anymore. He can't even make a cameo.
I was gonna say, if you could get Rowdy and Keith back, do it. But guess what?
Didn't Roddy Piper pass away?
yeah.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
gone.
He is no longer chewing bubble gum or kicking ass.
That's true. It's been 8 years.
Has it been 8 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
He really did run out of bubble gum, huh?
Yeah. Apparently so.
Aw. Keith
All
is
right.
though. He's still kicking.
Still kicking.
Yeah. But yeah, that's I for sure, that's the movie I really wanted to do, but I saw the rating. I was like, how is that even possible? It's got the longest hand-to-hand combat scene in any movie. So
Oh.
bad.
All right, guys.
Okay, Gunnar, I'm sorry. Let's land this plane.
Golden 80s, Frankie and Golden J. Thank you. Thank you for coming on and hanging out, talking about the Cannonball Run. Really appreciate it.
Hey, man, we've been happy
Anytime.
to be here.
Anytime.
Anytime.
Just remember,
Well, I'm sure.
when you decide to do it, They Live, you should just give us a shout. It'll give me an excuse to go watch it because I'm sure I've seen it many moons ago, but I don't
Many
remember it
moons.
all together.
You're not remember it's such a classic.
It's a classic. Can't argue with that.
It's
It's
great.
everywhere. It's everywhere.
I think they just celebrated its 35th year.
Mhm.
It something
Yeah,
was
they were
going
showing
on
it
with
somewhere,
it. Yeah.
yeah.
I was real sad I couldn't make it. I was trying to get to it, but life finds a
Mhm.
way.
It's true.
All right, Gunnar, send us out. Take us out. Have me stop talking. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Emperor, you got my plugs.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Thank you for listening to the Call Guys podcast. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and wherever you listen to your favorite streaming podcast, whether that be Apple, Spotify, or your mama's purse. Also, check us out at Golden.
What?
Also, check us out at goldmojoent.com, where we have a nice little write-up, and you can check out all of your favorite Call Guys merchandise, which includes hats and hoodies. There might be a t-shirt on there, or definitely a onesie.
There's a onesie for your baby.
No, I didn't think there was a T-shirt because Logan was gonna.
Yeah. Logan's supposed to be on that. Anyway,
That was
if you
funny.
liked what you heard and you heard what you liked and you
I love
wanted to
it.
hear more,
That's
then you
right.
need to get after all the other podcasts in the Golden Mojo empire, which include Golden Image Podcast, the
Nice.
United States of Paranormal, Indiana Chiefs fans, Golden 80s,
Yeah.
Murdnerds, and A Court of Books and Booze. That is right. You can find out everything you want to know right at goldenmojoent.com.
.com.
We have exciting things coming up, boys and girls. Listen, call guys. If we're working on something, we're going to announce a little bit later, hopefully this month. And we're super excited about it. And of course, United States Paranormal's got a lot of great stuff coming up at the beginning of the year as they hit their 100th episode. Call Guys is looking at their 100th episode.
Mm-hmm.
Golden 80s is looking at their 30th episode already. Go figure that one.
Whoa.
And for all of you Call Guys listeners who don't see me very often, and you won't see me till after the first of the year, you all have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And thank you for all those Call Guys listeners who come back every week. We
Tell your
appreciate
friends.
you
Tell your
more
friends.
than you ever know. So send the emails at thecallguyspodcast@gmail.com. These guys want to hear from you. I love to listen to what they have to when they read the emails. And Logan, you're about due for a voicemail into the Call Guys, so get that shit taken care of.
He's the only one who knows the bat phone
It's
number.
the only one. Yeah, that's right. How was that? Was that good enough on your plugs?
You
I'll
did a
take-
great job.
I made a
You can
couple
redo
of arrows. But I did them in my radio voice. Thank you for listening.
It was good. I enjoyed it. And then, what do you say for all those out there in podcast land? We'll see you next time. Go check out Golden 80s Podcast.
Breakfast Club
Cool.
is what did we do? Look where the cat dragged in
Look at the cat.
was
dragging.
this week's episode, or last week's episode. So go check it out.
All right.
Love you, brother.
Love you, brother.
Love you, brother.
Love you, brother.
See ya. Bye. I
We
just
can-
didn't want to throw
Colton,
any.
we can hang, man. Don't worry
I don't
about
know
us.
if you guys can hang. That's what
We can-
worries me about you old men.
These guys do an 80s version of our podcast. I think they'll be fine.
80s version.
It is-
This is their territory, actually, not ours.
Yeah, this is like 81, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, I
Mm.
think so. 81,
June
80 or
19th.
81. I
This
can't
cast
remember.
is crazy for the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.